Hey guys, what's going on? Before we get to the video today, I do want to give a congratulations to a frequent guest we've had here in the past on CWA, the Rumham. You guys know him as a caster, a shoutcaster, and just an influencer in the community, also a YouTuber. He has moved on to accept a job at Supercell on the Clash Royale team in Finland, and he'll be designing the game, so designing new cards and balancing and stuff like that. So best of luck to the Rumham, and that's really big news. I heard that on the Cast Royale podcast. I'll link the full podcast if you guys want to hear the interview and how it all kind of happened for the Rumham. But suffice it to say, hopefully he will be on the channel in the future when he is with Supercell, and he has some good card ideas and changes and all kinds of fun stuff that he will be a very valuable addition to the team. So congrats, and guys, enjoy the video.
Check it out now. I work the pen to make the ink transform on any particular surface.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here, coming at you today in Clash Royale. Hope this video finds you all doing well. It's the second half of my double upload Sundays. This morning I uploaded a CRL China recap where one pro player, Little Chen, swept the entire opposing team in King of the Hill format. Really awesome gameplay, so check that video out after this one if that sort of thing interests you. But I will be doing CRL China recap every Sunday for you guys. Okay, so today's video, in the second half of my Sunday uploads, I'm gonna try to make them opinion pieces. Some of you really like that, some of you it kind of triggers, so watch at your own risk. Today I don't think will be too controversial, the subject. It's gonna be something that we've never talked about before here on CWA. New cards. New card selection and archetype, and why I have a little bit of an issue with the cards that have been released in the last year. Now let me preface that by saying I actually really like a lot of the new cards that have been released in the last year. I like them a lot actually, and I have no problems with the individual cards in most of the cases here, but rather the overall kind of macro strategy when introducing new cards to the game. So let's take a look at the last 7 cards that were released this year. Barbarian Barrel, Zappies, Hunter, Royal Ghost, Skeleton Barrel, Flying Machine, Cannon Cart. Again, Barbarian Barrel, Zappies, Hunter. I don't know why I said them together. Zappies, Hunter, Royal Ghost, Skeleton Barrel, Flying Machine, Cannon Cart, and then before that there was Mega Knight, Bandit, Bats, Heal. Okay, so that goes past a year, like, you know, we're talking like 15 months in the past now. Those are the new cards that we've received in the game. Now, I love these cards, but they're all support-ish cards, maybe with the exception of Mega Knight. But every other card is 100% like a support card, and it falls... these cards rolls into the game, even though their utility might be a little bit different, or the way the cards kind of interact in the arena, which are really cool and unique in some cases, but the overall utility, the macro utility of these cards serves a very repetitive role, I feel like, in the game, okay? Support cards. So again, like Cannon Cart, Flying Machine, you know, let's just look at the epic cards, for example, let's choose a very narrow range of 4 or 5 elixir. 4 or 5 elixir epic cards in the game. If I want a support card to add to my deck, let's say it's a beatdown deck, well, I can choose from Cannon Cart, Hunter, Executioner, Dark Prince, Baby Dragon, and Witch. All at 4 or 5 elixir, only at epic. So every time they introduce a new epic card in that range, I feel like it's a little bit redundant. It only serves that one kind of utility, granted in a variety of different archetypes. You can say the same thing about rares to some regard. In, you know, Musketeer, at just 4 elixir or 5 elixir again, you have Musketeer, you have Flying Machine, Zappies, Wizard. You have different choices at the same cost for relatively the same card. I'm not even sure if I mentioned Executioner in Epic. I think I might have. Anyway, it's not that I dislike these cards. You know, Zappies, I love Zappies. I think they're an awesome card after they were changed to air targeting. They're one of my favorite cards in the game, and I think they're a little bit underrated, personally. I like the Royal Ghost. I think he's a great card, too. An awesome concept. I love the invisibility. So they're unique and different in their own ways, but at the same time, they do feel a bit repetitive and redundant to me in terms of their overall, again, macro usage in in the game. So I'll stop saying macro usage, by the way, golly. So again, I don't dislike these cards, but let's think about the cards that we haven't seen in the last year. What haven't we seen? Okay, well, we've never seen a rare win condition, and I'll talk about that more in a bit, but we haven't seen any win conditions. Again, you'd have to go past a year to find Mega Knight, which is a pseudo-win condition, but he's not like a defensive targeting unit. It's not like you can have a Mega Knight beatdown deck, at least competitively viable. He's not, you know, a pure win condition, but he's there borderline. You can build around him, you know, in the Mega Knight Zap Bait deck, for example. However, every other card, no win conditions. Win conditions are some of the spiciest, most interesting, and polarizing cards in the game, right? We've also seen no spawners. Only one spawner has been added in the history of Clash Royale. It is, anybody? The Furnace, right? Now, before I go on with the list, this is obviously a bias that the card designers at Supercell have. And it might be a good bias. They probably know more than I do about introducing new cards to the game. So granted, I'm putting all that on the table beforehand. It's just my observations as an enthusiast of the game, and for whatever reason, it appears they don't really like adding win conditions. They don't really like adding spawners, which a lot of people might agree with. They don't like adding defenses. That's a big one. No defenses have been added to Clash Royale. Unless I'm missing something, no defensive buildings, structures, right? I mean, am I forgetting something? Cannon, I mean, it's always been the same. Inferno Tower Cannon, Bomb Tower, what am I missing? I don't know. Cannon Cart, I guess, is a pseudo defense. It turns into one, right? But you guys get it. You guys get the idea. There's been nothing added to the game in that regard at all. So no defenses. I remember in the beginning of the game, people were like, is there going to be a legendary defense? Wouldn't that be cool? A legendary defense. Well, forget it. We haven't even seen a common defense, okay? So no defenses. And no siege units at all. I mean, I guess Royal Ghost is pseudo siege, and he was added at the very, very beginning of the game, right after beta. But there's been no addition to that archetype at all, right? Mortar and Expo, although they're polarizing, there's been no more siege added to the game. Again, maybe Battle Ram is kind of siegey. Not really. I mean, it's a siege unit in the historical sense of the card, right? Anyway. And I do like Battle Ram, by the way, but that's another card that's over a year and a half old, right? So recently, nothing. So there's a lot that I threw at you guys there, but it seems to me that the Clash Royale developer card designer team is predisposed to not want to add any of these card classes, and I invite the question to you guys and to Supercell, why? Why don't you want to add any win conditions? I think they're compelling and awesome, and I would be as bold to say that rare win conditions are the bread and butter of Clash Royale. So my ask here at the end of the game, at the end of this video, like, what do I want to see? I want to see a rare win condition added to the game. And I don't want them to go overboard. I don't want them to add only win conditions or only buildings or siege units. I think that would be a mess and a huge mistake. So let me be very adamant about that before you guys comment that, hey, adding all this would be crap, it would ruin the game, Ash. No. I just want like one a year. I'm not asking for the world here, you know? I just think adding a little bit of a variety, especially win conditions. Imagine a third rare win condition. I mean, Hog Rider and Giant are the staples of Clash Royale. Imagine having a third option for free-to-play players. You guys know I think about you. I'm a dirty gemmer, but I think about my free-to-play subscribers. It would be really cool to add a new rare win condition to the game, I think, you know? So I'm calling on you guys to give me your feedback. If you like this idea of adding a more healthy variety of cards instead of just support cards, let me know in the comments. If you think it's a horrible idea, let me know, and I won't suggest it to Supercell next time that I see them. And I won't at least get their opinion on it. Maybe there's really good, healthy reasoning as to why they haven't added any of these classes of cards. Now, the last point that I want to make before I end this opinion piece video is card balancing, especially new card balancing. I've referenced this in a previous video, but I did want to kind of reiterate it here for you guys. And that is, I really think that sometimes these new cards are either underwhelming, such as Barbarian Barrel, Heal. You could go back and look at a lot of underwhelming cards when they were released to the game. I mean, initially, Cannon Cart was really underwhelming. Initially, Zappies were really underwhelming. Granted, they do fix these things, but I think that I'm a firm believer is that with every new card, they shouldn't put too much time and energy and effort into balancing them before the challenge. I know that's kind of an eyebrow raiser. Why shouldn't they try to balance the card properly before the challenge? Well, I think they should obviously try, but I think that most of their time and energy should go after the challenge data comes in. Because, you know, you could be 1 or 2 or 3 or even half a dozen people sitting there at your desks practicing, playtesting a card, and granted they have a really good feel for the meta and the mechanics of the game. However, when you have millions of people playing the card and giving you the data in the challenge, I think that's awesome to base. You have a real significant body of data that you can dissect and balance perfectly, hypothetically, based on that, and even looking at the more competitive ends. So just the 12-win decks. Look at those win percentages, and just kind of get a feel for how often the card's selected in draft challenge, something random like that. You know, I wouldn't balance based on just those stats. But I think that it's a lot of new information that you can add to the equation when you're trying to figure out the perfect balance. Because let's be honest, the only reason I mention all this isn't because I want them to change everything they're doing or I demand changes. I just think it might be an easier way to do things because there's been a lot of cards that have been introduced to the game that have been way too strong or way too weak. So we're trying to find that happy medium the first time without having to keep tweaking like Skeleton Barrel, you know, add a skeleton, remove a skeleton, add a skeleton, remove a skeleton, and it looks like they're probably going to have to add a skeleton or just buff the card again, you know, add death damage, you know, stuff like that, right? Probably a bad card example, but you guys get the point, you know, going each way and each way to try to fine tune it. It's definitely a challenging job, so I'm not saying it's easy. Just trying to give my 2 cents. So guys, what do you think? What kind of cards need to be added to the game for you to be compelled to not only unlock them and play them, but also to upgrade them and spend your hard-earned gold and gems to invest in that card? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you think this format kind of suits you. Do you like the opinion and CRL formats of the Sundays? I really appreciate your feedback. Again, huge shout out to Stats Royale. You can see my player profile in the, it might not be pretty to look at, but you can see it in the description below, as well as my deck guides that are posted every single day. Shout out to Carl. What up, Carl? And huge shout out, of course, to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. You can check out Bren Chong's information in the description below as well. He hosts tournaments. He gives giveaways out. He's just like the I don't know, the Mother Teresa. Is that insulting? I don't know. Of Clash Royale. Oh man, I gotta stop this video before I get in trouble. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.